Well, hello everyone, and welcome to another Tarot Chat with Jay. Today I wanted to talk about tarot guides, and boy howdy are we living in a wonderful age to study tarot. We have books, decks aplenty. We have access to authors and illustrators, deck makers and creators through Zoom, through Patreon. There are just so many opportunities for us to hear the maker's word. In fact, I'm showing 6 decks today, and all of the guidebooks are self-published by the people who create the deck. So, this question sort of came up with some friends of mine while we were discussing tarot. What happens if you're not quite getting a deck? The guidebook is not helping. You're working on it, but you're not really cracking it. What do you do in that case? And there are a couple of suggestions that I have, things that have helped me out in my tarot journey. One of them absolutely is simply what I like to call flipping cards or running the deck. So you take, rather than turning to the guidebook, you take a deck that you know and use it as a guide to help you through a deck you may not know so as well. So basically you take 2 decks of cards. Right now I'm looking at This Might Hurt Tarot, which is a very, very straight Rider-Waite. And just to sort of look at messages and pull pattern and sort of think about it, I'm working with the Oracle Divine Doors. And as I pull cards and flip them into pairs, I'm looking for color similarities, image similarities, light similarities, and when I see something that, really sparks my interest, I might say, oh, I'm really interested. I see the pinks. I see the opening. I see the circle right there. That's something that calls to me. Or here I see for Nomad and the 8 of Pentacles, which is an apprentice card, how you need to go deep within. You need to go into that real solid space before you can bring your work out into the overhanging production line. So it's sort of a very intuitive way of going through the cards. And then sometimes you do find something that catches your attention and you say, what is it about this shape, this architecture? What is it that I want to look up in the guidebook? And maybe look into that meaning a little bit better and look into those cards. So that's a way of pulling cards randomly and just flipping until you find something really, you see pattern, color, texture, numerology, just something that makes you stop and say, wait a minute, that's the pair. Let's look into this one a little bit more. And I've pulled some cards specifically to talk about that connection you might see where you use a familiar deck to help you with an unfamiliar deck, or a combination of the two. Here I'm looking at the traditional Rider-Waite with Laura Tempest Zakharov's Liminal Spirits Oracle cards, and this is a gorgeous, just that yellow-blue combination flat alone is stunning. But here are some cards that for me really speak to each other, have a dialogue with each other. Here we have the Knight of Swords with the Crystal card. Now they can go next to each other, on top of each other, back each other, go edge to edge, just, be a little bit. There are a number of ways I can see this, but it helps. The crystals help me see the point of the sword. The crystals help me see that sharp focus, that immediate direction, that unstoppable laser beam of, this is a thing and I need to say it, I need to bring it, I need to show it, I need to, move it into the world. I see that message here in the Ten of Swords with clay. clay speaks about the earth, what we are ultimately made of, what we return to, the beginning of ending of cycles, like Tensois do, and the possibility of you're down, you're at the bottom. It intensifies that message of what will you become, what will you take out of this. And I love how I can see that stratification, gray lines here in the background that just run into that card, and how I can move that horizon where I need it to be and say, oh, look, there, here's something. It runs into this river, it runs into this horizon, it leads me somewhere. Here I've chosen the Knight of Wands with both salamander and metal, and how awesome would that be? If you want to amplify fire, you want to push something through, you want to honor fire in a spell, you want to talk about August, you want to, there's so many ways you might want it to happen to that fire element. Not only does this help me understand the intensity of this rider and his message, but this also makes me go, oh, what kind of altar, what kind of stones would I put, what would I throw this for, what ribbon, what color, what else would I put into it? And incidentally, friends, what does our knight have printed on their tunic? Why, it's a salamander, because in the time that these cards are depicted, which is the, quote, more or less medieval time, the salamanders were thought to be a sign in alchemy of being able to come into fire and go through it. So much like the phoenix, it was transformative, but it was also super magical and really, sort of, I don't know, really exciting stuff. So that's that connection really. Now, when I see this card all alone, I remember this understanding of it, and it informs my understanding of this card because I understood these cards. I want to turn to another example where we have the Laura Tempest with the This Might Hurt. This Might Hurt is, I think I said a really, good straight Rider Waite, so the images really hit. Here we have the snail with the Knight of Pentacles, and as I line up right there, I see that horizon, how this snail message and this Knight of Pent message just completely merge. The colors merge. The swirl of the snail shell and that front bike and that front wheel and the helmet and the pentacle coin that the knight is holding. This says, slow down, stay grounded, take your time, look at your garden, look to your land. And then above it, do you see these emanating golden tones coming up? The way it's depicted with this, you might be grounded, but you're not chained to gravity in any way. It's a very emanating card. It's grounded and emanating at the same time. So I found that very helpful. Now, it helps inform my decision. Another way that I've found one card guide another. I'm right here showing Rider Waite and This Might Hurt. Now, this is the Nine of Wands, and in Rider Waite, I always got real confused around, is it the Seven of Wands? Is it the Eight of Wands? Is it the sword? Is it this? Is it that? It was just like, the imagery was not helping me memorize the meaning until I saw Isabella Rotman's depiction here in the Nine of Wands. It's the same depiction. Here is someone who has been beat beaten up by their process. They've written through 8 of these wands. The 9th one is still in their hand. This person has used 8 of these staves to protect their tiny town and their family and their beliefs and the line that they've drawn here in the sand on the stage. The 9th is still clutched in their hands. And their hands are to their head. They're beat up. They have a freaking headache. But they're not done yet. It's this gorgeous perseverance. This person's still writing. Oh my God. All these pages surround them. This weight of tomes and reams of paper, and still they pursue. Now I get it. Now I get it. So I think that's one of the way that a card can help you understand another card, especially when the iconography or the symbolism starts changing. We see this in Tarot of Mystical Moments. Now, I do switch out to Radiant Wise. This is a Rider-Waite. It's just colored slightly differently, and the colorway matches up with Mystic, and it's a subtle color change, but it helps me see things. For example, here we have 10 of Cups, traditionally our Happy Family card. Happy Family, under a rainbow, 2 people embracing. And here in the Mystic Moments, it's under a rainbow, these people are embracing. Their 10 little fish are their numerology, and it is not the exact same imagery, but it is absolutely imagery that links and imagery that has the same meaning. Here we see those pinks in the sky, those blues, those greens especially. Another fabulous example is here in the Eight of Pentacles. Here we see, once again, Eight of Pentacles is our Apprentice card. Here's a person in the middle with their hammer banging away and their produce. Here, in Mystical Memories, it is this gorgeous girl embracing and being embraced by her butterfly while she paints circles and lines and dots onto the butterfly's wing. Her work is the butterfly, and the butterflies are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and she paints the 8th. 7 are finished, and she paints the 8th. Here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and they work on the 8th. It's the process and the honoring of it. Lastly, I do want to show one of my favorite cards, 9 of Pentacles. She's here in her garden with pentacles and her bird and a tiny snail, saying, once again, turning back to our snail energy, take that time, honor the process. Here she is with her bluebell, her 4, 8, 9 pentacles bejeweled around here. She's speaking with her avian friend, and here's her tiny snail right up there in her basket of fruit. Friends, thank you so much for joining me. Do you have one deck that talks to another? Let me know if you do. Kindly like, subscribe, and we'll see you next time. It's been a wonderful witching day. Thank you so much. It's been Jay.